Hello, everyone. Welcome to All Ladies League San Jose. Today is our December meeting, our second meeting since we started this chapter in September. My name is Lisa Wong. I'll be your host today. I'm a board member of this chapter. I'm sitting in for our chairwoman, Kim-Chi Chow, who cannot make it today, but we are going to have a fun time nevertheless. So let me introduce first what our organization is. Our All Ladies League is an international organization that empower women and leaders from all walks of life worldwide to expand business opportunities and enhance personal influence through networking. We are a nonprofit with a philanthropic vision and collaborative spirit. So let's get started. We have two great guests today with us, Olga Buchonina and Julia McNamara. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce the last name correctly. Forgive me. So we got 60 minutes, our meeting, and so I want to give majority of this time to hear from our two guests, and so that they can share with us their expertise. Today we're talking about blockchain technology and international business. So what treat we have is this our meeting right before the end of our decade and before the new year, and so this is very exciting. So why don't we start with Olga Buchonina? So Olga, why don't you introduce yourself briefly to our audience? And of course, we are have this recorded, so that we will have it on our Facebook group and our YouTube channel. So in the future, anybody, our members that listens to our recording can always hear you, what you do, and also can contact you. So how we will work is we will have you introduce yourself, tell us what you do, why you come to do what you do, and I'll ask you some questions, and just go from there. How's that?
That sounds wonderful. Thank you, Lisa.
Right. So take it away, Olga.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Hello, everyone. And thank you for giving us an opportunity to talk in December right before the holidays. I think it's a great opportunity to rehash the results of the year ending up 2019. So who I am a woman who has an engineering background. I've been doing engineering, hardware engineering, electrical engineering for over 25 years. And I have to say it was quite successful. Lately, when my children grew up, and I started fulfilling my own dream, which is build a business. I always had some sort of little businesses before, but now it's my own business. I've been doing it with my partners and co-founders for almost 3 years by now. So what we have is we have a startup studio where we provide a space, education, and also a platform to for companies to grow, to start a business and build a business. and the company is called ActionSpot. So if you are interested, you can check us out later. So why I'm so interested in blockchain? Because I truly believe that there is a lot of conversations in today's environment about women empowerment, financial independence, and etc. And if we're talking about not the first world countries, but the countries which are outside of the hemisphere of the large European or North American countries, things like blockchain and other subsequent technologies can help women to gain that independence overall and protect their resources and finances and grow them. So providing an education, and one woman who inspires me quite a bit is Tamara Sanchez. She is from a small country in Latin America. She can tell you later when she is on your show, but she wants to help women around the world, especially, like I said, in the third world countries. So her story kind of inspired me, and I figured that there is a way to do things and help people. That's about it. That's a quick introduction.
Great. Well, thank you.
Sure.
Volka, can you tell us what is blockchain?
So I think I have to start it with a little story how the technology blockchain is not a news. It's been here before, but it became popular due to the cryptocurrency concepts such as Bitcoin and Ethereum and others. Blockchain itself is a technology which allows people to provide anonymous, independent, and fully transactions. That's in the high way of saying it. There is way more which goes into that. But basically, if you think about All Women Foundation, right, you and I and Julia, if we do the transaction, we all are part of the chain, which helps to transfer that transaction from one thing to another. And it doesn't necessarily need to be transaction. It can be legal contract. It can be anything which needs to have a security, privacy, and have an independent resource which will authorize the authenticity of it.
Mm.
So that's
And
the blockchain. And if I rope it into cryptocurrency, what the cryptocurrencies do, and we are here to say that's not going to go away. Cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a couple of the others, which are probably will stay, they allow you to do these transactions without the overhead fees, without involving any bank. So I can buy with my Bitcoins food on a food cart in Colombia, and I can buy with my Bitcoins a coffee in New York. And I can buy something on Amazon, and I can buy it on UP. So everywhere in the world, I can pay with the same currency transactions, and I don't have to pay the foreign transaction fees, lots of fees. And most importantly for women, because it's such a new concept, and a lot of women are doing a small business, having this type of ability to accept payments helps them to gain that independence. And if the banks don't give them loans or opening a bank account in some countries, it gives them ability to still run the business and be successful.
Got it. So how does it benefit us women particularly?
How does it benefit women? It gives you financial independence, it gives you the protection and privacy, and it gives you a security in your and safety in a way.
I see. And how do we support you as a community?
Um, so we're running a lot of different like sessions and educational seminars. So we are also running some blockchain conferences, which will be later in the year, and having people to come and learn and start adopting it, that's the best way to give it back to the community. and helping us to grow ActionSpot.
So if people want to learn more about blockchain and how to start using it, and how do people get in contact with you and
Yes,
learn
so
about your services?
what we do, we run a weekly blockchain events on site, and we run a live stream events on our Facebook, and soon we'll be doing in all our social media channels. And of course, every time the people are interested, they can send us an email to info@myactionspot.com with the hashtag blockchain, and we'll respond to it now.
Okay, so if you will give us that link, we can post it. Make sure we post it
Absolutely, I'll
on
be happy to do that.
our Facebook page and our YouTube channel when we publish the video along with
Because
the
I
video.
truly believe that women need to be financially independent, no matter what.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if you are financially independent and fully secure in your independence, then you can do a great thing.
Great. Yes, I totally wholeheartedly believe that, and I really appreciate this technology and yeah,
right.
and what you guys are doing is really leading this movement. Making
We're just making it available.
great, that's wonderful, and yeah, just a lot of us women not tech savvy.
And you
You
don't
know,
need
we
to be.
hear
That's what
about it,
right.
we don't know, and we don't know where to start, and
Exactly.
so your if I
We're
understand
providing
correctly,
classes
that's
to
where
how, when,
your
and where.
company helps
Right.
in and help, right?
And for knowing or starting to doing it, you don't need to be tech savvy at all.
And they could be using it anywhere in the world.
Exactly. Now most of the big countries everywhere outside of the US, everyone is accepting it. And inside the US more and more, even Amazon is accepting it and eBay accepts it. So Walmart accepts it.
Oh, so to use it, do they need a cell phone, some kind of tech
They
device?
need an account. It can be a laptop, computer. It can be any type of electronic device with an internet access.
Oh, okay. So as long as they have a device with internet access,
They can do it.
they go to a website to.
Yeah, they set up. They can send us an email, and we'll do the step-by-step instructions. What needs to be done to get started.
And do they
Because
need
normally our
Mhm.
instructions are kind of adjusted towards the different people. So based on their questions, at least for now, we're still in standard template mode. And I don't think we ever will be.
So
I
what's
do
the?
not believe there is a template for all.
That's wonderful. What's the cost for people to start using it? Is there a startup cost?
It can be very nominal. You can start with $5.
Oh, okay. So are they connecting the to their bank
No, you can
directly?
deposit money straight to the wallet. Or you don't have to have a connection to the bank, not necessarily.
So you
Not
could do away with banks now, huh? So
exactly.
their money, they could just directly
They can.
deposit
That's
the
why I'm
money.
saying the women don't need to have a. I know in some countries you cannot open a bank account without a husband's approval or father's approval. By doing this, you don't need to have a bank.
So they don't need to have a credit score or anything to
Nothing.
qualify to.
They just need some rupees, some dollars to deposit to start trading.
So there's no
buy some
minimum.
coins so they can. No, there is no
Yeah,
minimum.
there's minimum. Oh, wow.
I'm just giving a random $5, so it kind of less and more understandable. But you can start at 50 cents.
Wow, that is really open up to everybody.
This
All
is what I'm
economic.
saying.
Yeah.
It's available to everyone, and people are afraid to use it because of the not knowing what is it.
Oh. And I guess another concern people have, or at least me, maybe a lack of understanding, is, oh, this is, technology is going to go in the cloud. I don't know where it is, where my money is. Um, would it
There
be
is
safe? I cannot touch it. I cannot, um,
you can
what,
touch it, but you can have two ways to save it. You can have it on a, like I said, on a mobile device, or you
uh-huh,
can have a hard key, like your
okay,
mouse, right? The mouse where you will, it's like a or USB key or some sort of storage device. On this storage device, you store your private key, and the only way that anyone will see it or will not see it, you can do the transactions when you connect your public key, which is on the network, with your
uh-huh,
private. Only then you will see this transaction. Without this key, no one will know who it is or what is it, and if a transaction will not start. So you can have it on a piece of paper. You don't need to have a storage device. You can have it on a piece of paper. It's called private key. Once you connect your private key with your public key, that's when the transactions can start happening.
okay.
They do not.
Olga, make sure your mic is closer.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
that's when
Okay.
the transactions start happening. They do not happen when there is no your key or my key on the chain.
I see. I see. So it's very secure.
It is
Um,
secure. There is
yeah.
nothing very secure in this world, but this is one of this. I can tell you the example. The last time blockchain on Bitcoin was hacked was in
Uh-huh.
2010. In 2 days, the guys fixed it, and it hasn't been hacked before. After
Oh, that's
there
good
were
to
lots of
know.
forks and etc., but it was not hacked. And now,
Now,
can you think of how many times the Experian got hacked, and Walmart got hacked, and Wells Fargo got hacked,
uh-huh.
and any other bank in America got hacked?
How about
So
the,
none of our transactions are safe with them.
yeah, that's good to know. How about the privacy issue? Would people lose their privacy because need need to provide some information on in the network?
There are some wallets which allow it or ask for that, but there are some wallets which do not, and that's the ones you probably want to use.
Oh,
You do not ever, 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 I will encourage you to give out your personal information to anyone on the internet. And to keep your privacy safe and secure, there is enough so-called crypto wallets where your information is secure and anonymous.
I see. So yeah, with this technology, we're really moving towards
That is
a
actually
very
truly secure. Right?
yeah, using technology and globalize how we use currency, and we could do away with the paper currency eventually, huh?
I think we will. It just depends on what type of you it will be. But the way I look at it, that
Yeah.
if we're talking about currency, the Bitcoin probably will be equivalent to digital gold. So right now we have a bricks of gold, which we convert our paper money to, right? And do it equivalent to gold. This will be a digital gold. There will be other currencies which will be accepted and traded, but
Right.
Bitcoin will be your digital gold. So
Right. Wow. Thank you. That's very at least very eye-opening for Of course, I'm sure many of us who hear about blockchain, but we don't know much beyond just the word. So thank you so much for educating us, Olga.
Thank you.
And again, uh, your website address is how
So you can send in information and questions to info@myactionspot.com, and on our
info
at
action
myactionspot.com.
myactionspot.com. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make sure to put that along with our Facebook posting and our YouTube channel. Great. Thank you so much, Olga. That was very and eye-opening and informative.
It's not
Yeah,
complicated.
financial independence is very important for us women, and yeah. Thank you so much, Olga. All right. So next we got Julia McNamara. Hi, Julia.
Hi there. Thank you for having us.
Yes, absolutely. It's such an honor to have you too. So, Julia, tell us. I know your name is Irish, and you have both Irish and U.S. citizenship, and
Yep.
you have very interesting background and expertise in international business.
That's right.
So I think we will really benefit from what you have to share with us and with our community. So take it away. Tell us, what you do and how you come to do this, and I'll follow up with some questions.
Sure. So again, thank you for having us. And I'm probably the non-technical half of this discussion because I really have no technical skills whatsoever. However, my career, I've really worked alongside various technologies, and I think it's really good career advice also for the younger people. Would be my 2 cents to weigh in. So my background was in innovation and in tech for about 20 years, and I've had 2 successful exits. I exited a firm for $1 billion in 2008, but then in the same month, I was actually hit by a car and semi-paralyzed on my left side. So I was home for a year recuperating, and the financial crisis happened, and I had signed up for a coaching class, and I started helping people market themselves, and basically, using the business experience I had built up over 20 years. So during the 20 years, I worked as a management consultant, and I helped set up teams and sales operations for product launches in 70 countries. So I had lived and worked, I lived in Europe for 5 years. I'm a big believer in international and the idea that everybody has to be really going global. And I felt that for a long time. I think it's so much easier these days to go global. So the name of the company, my company, is The Global Executive, and I run a community for founders called TGE Network. And we bring companies from, initially we started with the Netherlands, then we expanded to the Nordics, expanded to Germany and Ukraine and a few other countries that we're looking at. And we help bring the most promising tech startups and also consumer-facing products to New York and also to California. And we provide expertise. So we have worked now with 1,600 companies over 8.5 years. So it's just about 200 companies per year with a team of 3 people. But we have a very lean model, and we actually work with 45 partners, and we refer people to accelerators, we refer people to either traditional funding or what I think is really, really important, and especially for women, because women traditionally only receive about 2.2% of venture capital funding, and therefore many of the clients I've worked with, and immigrant entrepreneurs also, excuse me, don't have traditional credit lines, as you mentioned, and therefore we have to work with them in a more creative fashion and more resourceful. And so we've had to, we've worked with them to find what I would call like an anchor client, or their first big client, to help them gain credibility, test out their product and get good feedback, get revenue, etc., but also increase their valuation. So now they're in a better situation. If they did want to go raise money, they have a client, right? They have clients, they have revenues. They're in, it gives them not only, you know, more financial power, but also more control over how they can move forward. And many of the clients didn't need to go raise funding after that, or they could work, you know, they could really kind of move forward on that. So we like that model. We support women, we support everyone. I would say the client base in our community is probably skewed a little bit towards women, but it's men and women and people from a number of countries. And I'll also just toss in that we're upgrading our new platform, and our new platform and community now will cover 100 countries and 8 languages. And so we feel it provides a very cost-effective way for people to come, you know, check out the New York scene before they move here, or San Francisco, and get personalized advice from people who have actually grown companies to $1 million or $10 million or wherever you are, who have actually launched products, and who are well versed in the challenges that people face when they come from other countries.
So you are based out of New York City,
Yes.
Julia? Oh,
Yes.
okay. So you run your company from New York City,
That's right.
and your clients come from all over the world?
That's right. And we're also this year, especially in 2020, we're going for the new decade, we're also helping a lot of people expand globally or internationally. And so we're covering 5 markets right now. So we're working very closely with Europe and with a number of European countries, and we want to expand that in 2020.
And what kind of industry are they? You say 5 markets. Are they specific markets or any industry? Or
yeah, the markets. Oh, I'm sorry, pardon me. So the markets are, right now, we've been operating for, like I said, about 8 years with the Netherlands and the Nordics, so mostly European markets. We're also in Delhi, and we're also in San Jose now. So really wonderful. And again, we have the ability virtually to cover 100 markets, but where we have physical representation and where we have people sort of, you know, boots on the ground type of thing. So we also run events, and we run virtual events, and we run in-person events in New York. And we also run a lot of learning events. Our community is really a learning community. And just to sort of piggyback off of what Olga said, I think it's very interesting. And, you know, I think I had an interesting career because when I was in college, my second year of college, I was going to school for communications and broadcasting, and I saw a video conference. And I said, oh boy, that's for me. You know, that's seriously, I mean, what is that? I want to do that. So there was no program set up. And I feel the same way about blockchain. It presents a lot of opportunities for women because people aren't that educated in it yet. And obviously there are some constraints, I get that. But for the most part, if you're a young person or any age really, I think it's really good to stay abreast of these types of things, stay on top of these topics. You know, it's a good way to differentiate yourself and don't be afraid to look into things that are, you know, happening. I mean, it's part of the opportunity, and it's also part of the challenge. But, you know, if you really want to do well and challenge yourself, I wouldn't be afraid of these types of things. And I would also think that people have to look global these days. They have to think of more of a global context. We have to look at what the rest of the world is doing. I mean, Norway and Sweden, they're going cashless. You know, you pay everything with your phone, right? They're using a wallet. They're going to go cashless. This is a trend. And then emerging markets, I mean, imagine it's tremendous, the opportunities, as Olga mentioned, with these types of currencies. And so our goal also is to support women and help raise women all around the world. So I feel like, again, don't overlook this idea from a career perspective of getting more involved with blockchain, even on the side. And I wouldn't say you have to be necessarily a very, as Olga pointed out, a technical person or a currency person to understand this. There's opportunities in marketing, there's opportunities all around this, but I really always urge women to, sort of not be afraid to go after things that are hot and look at these. And this is, again, not some sort of fad. This is really happening elsewhere. And because of the complicated nature of the U.S. system, we are not there yet, but we will get there. But again, we should really pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely. Just recently, I came back from a trip to Taiwan, and I was introduced to how the people in China, they are using WeChat, the app on their phone to pay for everything wherever they go. So that's something, yeah, that we're not caught on here yet. Yes, we got Apple Pay and Google Wallet, but I don't know how quickly people are catching on here. I'm sure the younger people are much more savvy and catch on using these technologies. For a lot of us that are not using our cell phones in that way, or opening our minds to all these different ways to use currency, or that's just really we need more education. and I agree with you that here, because of the internet, because of technology, it's really bringing us close globally, as we could think beyond just locally, physically, and we need to really think internationally. And it's much easier now with the technology enabling us to do that. So Julia, what kind of, thank you for encouraging entrepreneurs to think globally, and your company helps companies expand internationally. What are the questions the founders or CEO of the companies should ask their executives to find out if their company is ready to expand globally?
Okay, so I would say that I think it's important that a company has a solid foothold in their home country or their launch country. And I would say a big challenge that I see is that people expand too quickly into markets that they don't understand. They don't have a local partner that's been thoroughly vetted with good due diligence, and they've spent time with them, and they have a relationship. And outside the U.S., we have to understand this, and inside the U.S. too. I mean, the success of, you're going to be successful in business, it's really tested on the strength of your relationships. And if you have great relationships with people and you can depend on them and trust them, but how do you develop those relationships if you're coming from another country, right? So this is a challenge for immigrant entrepreneurs or anyone. So that's part of the process we try to facilitate. There's certain government programs that help facilitate that type of thing. Accelerators and such as what Olga is doing, and also some of the other traditional accelerators that are tied to some VC firms, they help with this sort of thing, but it's still a challenge. So I would say that, again, just to recap, like, have a really solid, do we have a solid grasp on our home country? Do we feel that we've maximized, or not maximized, but that we feel we have a good foothold here and enough to sustain us in going into a new market? And then the thought is also, how do we prioritize what markets we expand into? And that's another challenge that I feel like a lot of people struggle with, right? And it makes sense, is how do you make, and how are you measuring this? How are you measuring your return? And how are you really realistically looking at the investment? And so, we try to help people. And with the internet and with other technologies, you can, visit in a way or you could travel there. It's much easier to travel there before you set up an office. But you can also do so much virtually. So we believe really, if you can set up and this idea of like a SaaS-based platform, if you can set up and take down, and if you can establish a presence before you have to go there, and if you can scout out and do diligence on the market before you go there in a really cost-effective way, it only makes your business more efficient, you'll make better decisions, and you'll move more quickly.
And Lisa, what Julia's platform does is exactly that. She actually helps, especially international businesses, to do exactly this. She helps them to do the due diligence, understanding of the market before they even hit the ground.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, Juliet, your company helps the companies who wants to get into other markets internationally. Do you offer them coaching, consulting
Yes, I guess
services?
you could call it both of that, both. But generally, we have a membership-based platform where people come to us, and I found that's quite cost-effective. So we have 3 tiers of membership, and we have kind of one tier is sort of a do-it-yourself, where the person would join and get a lot of great information globally about accelerators, about programs, about grants, about funding, and also educational platforms educational videos and so forth of how to do that, walking people through all the way to launch and go-to-market strategies. And I think having done this for a while, we didn't want to replicate what other people were doing, and we found that what's really hard is when you come to another country, and how to make those decisions, how to prioritize, and then how to execute, and how to find somebody that's not only trustworthy, but that's a good fit for you. A lot of work on that also about our platform is very sophisticated in matching you to people that are quite relevant to you. So you can go in and choose on about 17 different criteria of what you're looking for in a partner. So you could look by blockchain, you could look by technology, you look by experience. And I think the great part about it is people have actually, going back to our comment about the world is getting smaller as we're connected, a lot of the same entrepreneurs all around the world have the same challenges. Obviously, depending what market they're in, right, it's different, but I'm just saying some of them are the same. People that want to expand here have the same kind of challenges, and we found it's nice to have a community to turn to that's going through the same thing that you're going through. So we found there's been a lot of kind of peer networking and a lot of relationships come out of just literally being on the platform. And again, it's, proven advice. Like, we stand by our record, and we're very careful. Another thought that I think is very important to mention is this idea of protecting your IP and making sure that you have, because in a global marketplace, right, you have to be very careful that you're protecting your intellectual property, you're copywriting, trademarking it, and that kind of, again, that type of stuff can get very expensive. We've come up with a lot of partners and very high quality but lower cost resources where people can, get really good IP attorneys to make sure that they have everything protected before they expand into another market that might not have the same level of intellectual property protection.
So your company helps these businesses to connect them with resources, the proper people, reliable people, to help them address these IP issues, legal issues, and connection to the markets that they want to expand to.
Exactly. And everything else, like insurance, right? What level of insurance do you need? And who are the best providers? Health insurance, not only health insurance, you need business insurance. So we've gone through, now with 1,600 people, like we can answer these questions really quickly. We have immigration attorneys that can talk, what's the difference between the various visas that are out there? That's, a big challenge. And are there other ways to, we like to pride ourselves on, we're very creative. Are there other ways to come to the U.S.? Are there different, so we have very successful immigration attorneys who have been able to, they understand the market very well, and they've been very successful in getting people the appropriate visas that they have. And we have, we call these, like soft landing services. So imagine if you're going to start up a company in another country, the first thing you'd probably say is, I need a startup, I might need a startup attorney, I might need an immigration attorney, I probably need access to a couple of different office spaces. As I mentioned, what other services? Insurance, maybe marketing, maybe software development. So we cover all of those. And we refer those out to partners that are trusted. And our partners also sign, and this is also new in 2019, an ethical pledge that they are going to, work hard and to never take advantage of. I think that a lot of people from other countries and a lot of people that just don't have access to this knowledge, or perhaps don't have the experience, can get taken advantage of. So we make it, and I've seen it happen too many times in New York City, so we've taken an ethical pledge that we won't do that. And none of our providers would do that. And we protect your data. And in fact, we're also, we monitor your data. And if you want your data back, we can give it back to you. You can take it with you. It's this whole new idea of like portable data. But the idea is, we have great success. We support women. We support immigrant entrepreneurs. I mean, in New York City, 40% of founders are foreign born. So people from other countries add tremendous value to this country. And the children of immigrant entrepreneurs, that's a new area people are looking into. I mean, fascinating. Again, super, such value. So I think it's tremendous, and I think it's just an area I've felt very passionate about since I was a little kid, and I really think it's important to support everyone from everywhere.
That's so wonderful. Yeah. Especially as U.S., we are like a melting pot. So we'll have lots of immigrants from all over the world here, and having entrepreneur desires. So how would what's the cost for someone to come to you and use your services?
We have three different, we have tiered pricing. So we have a $99 a month, and that's sort of the lowest tier. And that is, we do offer occasionally discounts to certain people. That is a sort of basic membership, which will match you with relevant, it's relevant resources, but you will have to do a little bit of legwork on your own. And then the second tier, pricing tier is $300 a month. And then you will get personalized help with launching your company, and again, more specific expertise from our experts. And then we have a 6-month, $10,000 package, but that's $1,500 a month. And we will have you launched, and that includes marketing, PR, and connection to up to 6 partners.
Okay, and so you're helping people expanding from both sides, right? From the U.S. to overseas, and vice versa, for companies overseas to come into the U.S. Is that right?
That's right. And right now we only cover, if you're going outbound from New York, we only cover 5 markets sort of very deeply. But by the end of this year, we will be covering, as I mentioned, we have the option to cover up to 100 markets, and with in-language capabilities too, which I think is very important also. So our groups, are in Russian or Chinese or Hebrew or whatever language people want.
So you have, so I suppose your team, it's also very global. You have a lot of people from different different countries that speaking different languages.
Yep. So yeah, we keep it very, very lean, very agile. And I work with full-time freelancers. I mean, they're part of our team. They've been working with us for a few years now. And as I mentioned, we have a number of partners that we like to send people to. So we can give really good recommendations about which accelerator program you should apply to, how do you get into it, do you need to go through an accelerator? Can you go directly? So there's many clients that, they might not need that. Again, and what kind of trends are happening and how do you kind of cut through. We find we spend a lot of time in communicating also. How do you sell to a Fortune 100 company if that's your target market? Or how do you sell to a direct-to-consumer? Which company would be the best to get a foothold in? Who already has partners? Who doesn't have a partner? What is the competition? And we do a lot with, looking at the competition, benchmarking you, figuring out where others are making money, how you can do that. We can give you case studies. And so this idea, it's like a learning community, where people come on for 6 months and they learn. The idea is we can help you do it, but we also teach you how to do it because, and we especially focus on leadership and then business in terms of business development and marketing.
And specifically for helping women entrepreneurs, how do you have specific services to empower women entrepreneurs?
Yes. So I've been involved with this for a really long time. I was a member of, I was on the board and ran the New York chapter for Elevate, which is a women's networking organization. For 17, I was on the board for 13 years and a member for almost 18 years. So, and then other chapters and other technical organizations and so forth. So a big supporter of women. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, women don't have that access to, as the research shows, don't have that access to capital because many of them don't have that network. Many of them don't have a network because they took time off to have children and were home or were, underemployed, so to speak. And the research also shows that women don't have the formal network and then what you call the informal network. So you think about it, that if you have, especially women, in their, just say late 20s, early 30s, and they're having kids, they're not going to go out for drinks after work with the guys or with the other people in the office. And those people, that's the informal network. And that's where a lot of the friendships are made. That's where a lot of the sort of things get talked about. And so women in a way get left, they get left out traditionally of that informal network. And then if they take time off to have kids, they come back, they feel a little lost. I could imagine that happening because, you don't, and you might feel a little bit behind. Because you have been out of the workplace, right? For the formal workplace. So I think women in particular have that. They have that against them. They don't get the network. And let's not forget that there's also a lot of bias and a lot of beliefs out there that are still not so progressive and feel that women, I don't know if it's that they can't lead, but that women would probably take time off to have kids and they're always going to put their family first over their job. That's sort of informal feedback I've heard, pushback I've heard, which I don't think it's true. But it's some sort of bias that's out there and some sort of, but imagine that women really don't get the access to the capital or the knowledge or the networks. And that's where you're going to make big money. I mean, that's where these women are really going to get up to the C-suite and sort of senior management positions, which is what we need across all industries. and that's what you need, is to sort of leapfrog those women, and they are penalized if they take time off to have kids, and that's a challenge. And the only what's interesting, and in other countries, imagine too, is because I lived in Europe and stuff, they have subsidized daycare. We don't have that here. Some companies, I had worked with McNamara a few years ago. They offer on-site childcare. That's down in sort of southern New Jersey, and I know in New York it's a trend to do that, and I think it's great, and I think it's there are a few companies that are providing that, but like that's a must-have for a woman, I think, to have to try to. There needs to be some sort of, and also some more part-time opportunities where women can keep their toe in the business place, sort of keep their toe in the market, and yet, like, still have time to take care of their families or what other commitments they have.
Yeah, sounds like there are a lot of not just teaching them how to do the business, but first they're educating them to have the business mindset and the including the money mindset. A lot of the women may not have, right? So those education is so essential to women, encouraging them in going into entrepreneurship. What would you, what advice would you give to young women starting, their careers and exploring entrepreneurship? What advice, what lessons would you give to young women starting out?
Okay, so I think that my advice is a little bit different than other people's. I don't want to just repeat what other people have said. What I think is interesting, and I don't think enough people do, especially young people, is build. So you need to build these relationships with people who trust you. I feel, so you need to develop trust. I get a lot of questions. People ask me, how do you develop power relationships? So meaning relationships with powerful people who could potentially eventually fund your company. Well, number one, you either work for somebody like that, meaning, and that was my case. I worked for a very successful entrepreneur in Germany I was so lucky and grateful that he gave me an opportunity to really shine, and he believed in me. So you need that. You need and I would call them like a sponsor. So not just a mentor, but a sponsor. And the difference between a mentor and a sponsor is that a sponsor will put their money where their mouth is, and they will potentially, fund your company. But the third thing is, you don't need to be, I found like a lot of people meet these people through volunteer. I mean, that's a big thing I think is overlooked, is that, but and really believing in the cause that you're volunteering for, you will meet some very interesting people. But I think you have to develop this reputation and a brand where people will trust you, and that's how they will support you when you decide to become an entrepreneur, and especially around money raising. I find that the Shark Tank show, and I think it's that and some of the other shows, the way it's entertaining, but we have to remember it is a little bit disingenuous in the sense that it is, it's a TV show. So I feel that a lot of young people get the impression that they have to have this killer pitch, and that they're going to, be really clever and come across as really clever, and they're going to impress the judges so much that somebody's going to write them a check. That's not how it works. They write you a check because they trust you, they know you, they believe in you, but really because they trust you with their money. And, it doesn't matter what the idea is, any of that, it's you. Especially in early stage companies, they're only investing in the founder.
Yeah. So that kind of advice and experience that you share with people, especially the young women, is so key in helping them take a step, starting out. So how do we support you, Julia?
Well, How do you support me? Well, I think that we should sort of continue to do these talks, and that we should pick some topics and get some feedback from the audiences about what they'd like to learn about, and that Olga and I would talk to them about that. And I would love for, if you wouldn't mind, to do a shout out about the new platform.
Yeah, how do people learn about your new platform?
Sure. The new platform for the community is tgenetwork.com. So it's the Global Executive Network.com, TGE.
TGE.
Network.com.
TGEnetwork.com. Okay, we'll make sure to have that link in our Facebook post and our YouTube listing.
Yeah, and we'd be happy to, to offer anybody that wants to sign up with us before the end of the year, a major discount as we're moving over to this new platform, if that was something that people were interested in. And we have a lot of case studies. We've gotten technology companies into NASA, and we've gotten them partnerships. So we feel really confident that we can get people in. We're connectors. That's what we like to do.
Yeah, that's wonderful. One last question I think I have for you, Julia, is do you help companies that are, of course, for-profit companies? How about the companies in the non-profit space? Do you also offer your services to them?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'll be honest, I haven't done I will say that I get these last, say, 18 months, 2 years, I get a lot of what I would call like social impact companies. So they're in between. So they're either nonprofits or they're B Corps, or they're on their way to becoming a B Corp, if you're familiar with that term, which is in between. So yes, absolutely. And always happy to help, again, support women, across the board, whatever they're doing, career-wise and business-wise. As Olga pointed out, it's really important, I think, for women to be financially responsible and have the ability and have the access to be able to become more financially independent.
Absolutely. That's so critical. Yes, the helping women all over the globe to become financially independent, financially free, and that comes with improving our the quality of life for all women, and impacts all families because of that. So what a wonderful and inspiring and enlightening conversation we have this morning with you two, Olga and Julia. Thank you so much to be with us, and
you're an amazing host.
No, this is great education for me. Considering I'm in the healthcare space, and I run a nonprofit to help women and or families to empower their health. And so the health and their wealth, it's very foundational, to everybody's quality of life. So thank you so much. This is really a great education. And I hope it's a fun chat for you too. It's on a Saturday morning. And we'll definitely really want to get the word out there to the community, to our global network, and all the women. And this is very empowering information. So again, our San Jose chapter in Silicon Valley is just starting and growing, and I want to also to take this opportunity to let everyone know in San Jose, Silicon Valley area, if you want to join our network and be a speaker like this with our informal chat, and at the same time network and have expand our business to serve our world, and this is what we're about. We're sisters, helping sisters. So thank you so much again, both of you, to be on our meeting here, and wish you the best Merry Christmas next week coming
Happy
up,
holidays.
and happy holidays, and
You
and
too.
the beginning of such a brand new decade.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We're
so
starting a new
Absolutely.
decade.
Thank you so much.
thank you, you too,
you.
and we will be in touch, and welcome to be part of our network.
Fantastic. Thank you.